BMW is more reliable than Toyota. Well, certain BMWs. We'll talk about it in today's video. I'll include a link to the BMW in Pleasant Grove's website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Chris. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Now there's one powertrain in particular that is wrecking Toyota when it comes to turbocharged engine reliability, and that is the B58. It is a single turbo 3-liter inline 6, and it goes through an 8-speed ZF. So not only is the engine reliable, the transmission is also very reliable. And if that wasn't enough, power and fuel economy are also fantastic with this powertrain. This version puts out 375 horsepower and then 398 pound-feet of torque. You can easily tune this engine up to 800 horsepower. Obviously, the more power, the less reliability you'll have, but it can handle big power. And fuel economy, 23 around town, 27 on the highway with this big SUV. It is seriously impressive. I did a year-long test with the Ineos Grenadier that also has this powertrain. That vehicle weighs 6,400 pounds. It is a heavy vehicle. It's also a block of cheese. It's a big box. I was able to average 17 to 18 miles per gallon with that vehicle, and so this powertrain is seriously impressive when it comes to the overall efficiency. And if I didn't already sell you on this powertrain, there are several examples with well over 200,000 miles, and there are even examples with over 300,000 miles with this powertrain. Modern Toyotas are struggling to hit 100,000 miles without blowing up at least once. So suffice to say, BMW massively overbuilt the B58. That's why we all love it. And as long as they continue to put this in their vehicles, they are likely to have the most reliable turbo engine. Don't get me wrong, I think that Toyota's V6 and their 4-cylinder turbo will do good long term. I just don't think they'll ever really be able to compete with the B58 when it comes to the reliability, the fuel efficiency, and the power. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now, you don't have to get an X5 to get this powertrain. It's available in a bunch of different BMWs, like the X7 there that kind of has a funny looking front end. You can also get this powertrain in the BMW X3. Like I said, Ineos Grenadier, it's not even a BMW. It's in the new Toyota Supra. There's a reason why so many different vehicles use this turbo inline 6. But back to the X5 that we're looking at, what about the rest of the car? Like, the engine and transmission are reliable, but what if the rest of the car falls apart? Well, first off, modern BMWs actually have really good build quality. I mean, just like feel the weight of the door and you just close it and it's solid. Like, it's a very nicely built car. I mean, you can see the materials here. There's no like wiggle with the trim. Everything is nicely glued down. Toyota could take a little bit of advice from BMW on that side of things. I mean, I think there might be a little bit of give in the center console, but for the most part, the build quality with these BMWs is rock solid. And the practicality is also fantastic. Massive cargo area, and this is one of the few SUVs that still has a tailgate from the factory. Now, despite all this positive news, there is one slight downside with the BMWs when it comes to reliability. And that is, well, yes, all of this stuff and, well, some of this stuff. BMW is a luxury brand, so they offer lots of luxury. I mean, this car, for example, I think it has the 360. Yeah, this has the 360 camera. It's got adaptive cruise control. It's got heated and ventilated seats. And I mean, you guys saw the screens. Yeah, it's got a massive screen all the way across the dash. So it does have quite a bit of technology, and there can be some electrical glitches with this technology. That being said, in my experience, the screen setup that BMW has is actually pretty darn reliable when it comes to an electronic setup. Even the screen I had in my Ineos Grenadier had zero glitches whatsoever. And so although there can be glitches, you're unlikely to experience them with the BMWs. That being said, you are better off getting less features. The fewer things you have in your car, no matter what car it is, the less likely there is to go wrong. And so if you want like the most reliable, rock solid, practical BMW, it would basically be a base model X5 with the turbo inline 6. If you get that, right, you don't get the fancy adjustable suspension, massaging seats, all that extra stuff. You just get rid of all of that stuff and you just do the X5 with the B58, you'll have an SUV that will be great for literally hundreds of thousands of miles, and it's still a very nice luxury car at the end of the day. Now, this obviously won't come cheap because the base price of the X5 is $68,600, so you're going to be basically $70,000 even if you don't add any options whatsoever. And this one we're filming today is $82,400 after all of the fancy options. But you can get cars that are less expensive than the X5, like the 3 Series, for example. It still has the B58 if you're looking for a reliable vehicle with a turbo engine. So let's take this X5 out for a quick spin and show you guys just how great the B58 is when it comes to performance. The thing I didn't spend too much time on was the sound. That's another thing I actually do like about the B58 quite a bit, is the sound. It's really nice. Again, V6s kind of have this choppy, abrasive sound, whereas an inline 6 turbo, it just sounds so good. And I honestly, I prefer the single turbo setup to the dual I'm an idiot, to the twin turbo setup. I've driven, you know, BMW's twin turbo inline 6. I've driven Ram's new twin turbo inline 6, and the performance is great. My beef with twin turbo inline 6s is I feel like, wow, that is a huge difference from very low to low. Anyways, I feel like you do concede some smoothness and some low-end torque with the powertrain. Oddly enough, it seems like they're a little bit more of a top-end powertrain, whereas this has both, like, it has power all throughout the power band. It's great. It's got a great low end. The middle of the range is fantastic, and then it's got a good top end too. I will say though, twin turbo, I guess, does have a little bit of a stronger top end with these inline 6s. But this powertrain is incredibly smooth. First off, the 8-speed's super smooth. It's fantastic. There's a reason why so many manufacturers use the ZF 8-speed. It's a great overbuilt transmission. And the other thing is the quiet nature of this powertrain, just the car in general. Again, this powertrain, when you're like full throttle, you hear it, it sounds good. But when you're just commuting, it's very quiet. Like, you'll hear more road noise than engine noise. Whereas the V6s, again, even on the low end, they can be kind of, you just hear some abrasive, chunky sounds here and there. It's not the worst thing on the planet, but it's definitely not preferable by any means. But yeah, I mean, like, look, I'll pop this into sport mode here, and you just, it's got this smooth sound to it. And again, the performance is super smooth too. I'll get you guys on acceleration in a little bit. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, man, I am hot. Sorry guys, I gotta do this. I am dying. It's so smooth. The performance is just fantastic. There's no other powertrain other than a NA V8 that really is as smooth as this. I mean, I guess twin turbo V8s are also pretty smooth, but sometimes even twin turbo V8s can be kind of peaky in terms of their overall power delivery. Okay, so here, we've got another acceleration. Look at this. And it just keeps pulling all the way to the top. You gotta remember, this is a family SUV, but the performance is just phenomenal. V6s, especially at the top end, they die, the power goes away. The low end is choppy, and then the top end, there's not really a lot of power, so you just don't get smooth acceleration like this. So in conclusion, I think that people need to stop being brand loyalists. And I've discovered this, you know, reviewing cars for years now, is that some cars that manufacturers make are junk, and some cars are good. And if you're not a brand, like I think that you guys can probably tell, I'm not a brand loyalist. I've owned cars from so many different types of manufacturers. If you do things that way, then what you end up getting to experience is really cool cars over the course of your car ownership life, and you get to experience the best stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that every single car I've bought has been like a complete home run, but you know, the Grenadier, that was absolutely fantastic. And it's like, oh, if you're a, you know, hardcore Toyota person, you're like, oh, I'd never consider that. But it's like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care who makes the car, whatever car's the best. And so if you're looking at a luxury vehicle, BMW is not perfect, right? But the regular X5, like I said, not too many options with the B58, is such a rock solid powertrain. It's really reliable, and if you get a car that doesn't have crazy options on it, then you're not gonna have to worry about vehicle reliability too much either. And again, like I said, I haven't had any major electronic stuff. It's mostly like this stuff like the 7 Series that has tons of stuff that'll be problematic in terms of BMW ownership. But you get something like this, not too many options, and you'll be fine. And again, if you don't like BMW, they're like selling their powertrains to other manufacturers like Ineos, Toyota, Land Rover. Now the one downside about Land Rover is, well, Land Rover has electronic issues, and then BMW is only selling the V8, which don't get me wrong, I love BMW's V8. I think it's one of the best performing powertrains. It's also pretty efficient for a high performance V8. It's just, it's not as reliable as, like, that powertrain's probably like a solid 100,000 mile powertrain, whereas this, I bet you we're gonna see people with 500,000 miles with these B58s. And especially like the Grenadiers, they haven't been out on the market for long enough, but since that vehicle is so simplistic, I'd be willing to bet there's gonna be people with like 500,000 miles on those Grenadiers in, you know, it'll probably take like 5 to 10 years to get to that point. Maybe a little bit longer, actually, probably 10 years. But I think it'll happen. Let me know your thoughts.